feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.
The day Paris forgot how to breathe. July 5, 2025. There are days when cities fall quiet, not because nothing happens, but because someone leaves. Today, Paris held its breath. In the early morning light, when the Eiffel Tower still cast long shadows and the streets of the fashion capital shimmered in a sleepy haze, the world's most beloved silhouette stepped into a car. And just like that, Kim Taehyung, V of BTS, left Paris. But the city has not yet exhaled. A goodbye without goodbye. No official statements. No press conference. Just the soft hum of black-tinted cars, the hurried footsteps of staff, and the raw, unfiltered emotions of the people who had waited days just to catch a glimpse. Some say he was heading back to Seoul. Others whispered, "No, LA. Jungkook and Jimin, they're already there." But does it really matter where he went? Because the truth is, part of him is still here, etched into the cobblestones, echoed in the footsteps of fans still lingering near the hotel where he once stood. When the streets became a stage, they came with flags, letters, cameras, and hearts so full they could barely speak. Armies from across Europe stood in quiet unity outside the hotel, some since dawn, hoping for one last wave, one last smile. And he gave it. Not because he had to, but because he always does. He rolled down the window. He waved. His smile was tired but grateful. And in that instant, hundreds cried, not from sadness, but from love so intense it could shatter the sky. Not a fashion show. A coronation. They called it a fashion week. But for those who were there, it felt more like a coronation. Taehyung didn't just attend Celine's runway event, he became it. While others walked the carpet, V floated. He didn't just wear fashion, he spoke it, embodied it, breathed it. Every glance, every movement, every still moment between camera flashes, crafted like a painting that refused to fade. Park Bo-gum was elegance. Suzy was grace. But V? V was gravity. The return of a legend. 3 years. That's how long he stayed away from the fashion world center stage. But the moment he arrived, it was as if he had never left. Post-military, he returned not as a boy, but as a man whose eyes told stories we'll never read in headlines. There was depth in his stillness, power in his gentleness. He didn't need to prove anything. Yet he still conquered everything. 5 million mentions. One name. Hashtag Celine Prince. Hashtag Walking Masterpiece. Hashtag King of Fashion. These weren't just hashtags. They were love letters. Within hours, his name exploded across social media. Over 5 million mentions in a single day. Every platform bowed, not to a product but to a presence. A global icon who walks softly, yet carries the weight of a million dreams. The fans who waited and the moment that made it worth it. They waited in the rain. In the heat. On unfamiliar streets. Some traveled hours. Some flew across borders. Some brought handmade banners. Some brought nothing but hope. And when he walked by, just for a second, they smiled through tears. Because that second was enough. Army, the heartbeat beneath the glamour. They respected the distance. They protected the peace. They became Paris's quiet heartbeat. No screaming. No chaos. Just love, fierce, respectful, and deeply human. They waved without stepping forward. He bowed without stepping back. A language beyond words passed between them. And in that stillness, an entire fandom remembered why they stayed. He wasn't just seen. He was felt. Every magazine praised his elegance. Every camera chased his reflection. But what made Paris tremble wasn't his clothes or titles. It was the feeling he left behind. A quiet kind of magic. A man who doesn't just walk into rooms, but leaves them forever changed. A love story without touch. Between V and Army there was no handshake. No autograph. Only eyes meeting across barricades. Smiles exchanged like secret messages. A kind of connection the industry can't replicate. It wasn't about being near. It was about belonging. Now that he's gone, Paris feels quieter. Even the Seine seems to flow a little slower. Even the wind feels like it's carrying memories. Taehyung left the city, but he didn't take everything. He left behind the echo of his footsteps, the warmth of his gaze, the fire of his presence. And Army? They're still here. Uploading photos. Writing captions like prayers. Sharing videos like love songs. Not because they're obsessed, but because they remember. Because he made them feel. And that, more than fashion, more than fame, is what makes V eternal. He came. He saw. He conquered. And now the world waits again. Even if he never returns, the city will always remember the boy who made it feel alive. The city that refused to move on. It's been days since he left. But Paris? It still moves like it's walking through memories. Boulevards once filled with voices calling his name now echo with the absence of them. The hotel lobby where cameras once flashed endlessly now feels like an abandoned stage, the velvet curtains still swaying as if waiting for his silhouette to return. Even the rain, when it comes, feels softer. As though it too misses the boy with galaxies in his eyes. Army still walks those streets. They don't say it out loud, but they're still there. Not to chase him. Not to wait for another appearance. But because they can't quite leave yet. They walk past the cafe where he once smiled from a car window. They glance at the reflections on store glass where his image had once paused. Some whisper his name under their breath, like a secret spell that might bring back the magic. A city marked by a single presence. Locals didn't understand it at first. Why were thousands gathered at Charles de Gaulle Airport just for one person? Why did traffic stop not because of a parade, but because a young man stepped out of a car in a black Celine coat? But now even they know. They know who he is. They call him Le Prince Silencieux, the Silent Prince. Not because he spoke little, but because his silence said everything. And then the rumors took flight. Whispers floated across time zones. He's going to LA. He'll meet Jungkook. Jimin's already there. RM too. Others speculated a secret project. A global campaign. A hidden photoshoot that could change the trajectory of fashion. But Army didn't care about the where. They cared about the how. How was he feeling? Was he resting well? Was his smile, so radiant in Paris, still on his face, even when the cameras weren't watching? The digital pulse never faded. Every day, new clips resurface. That wave he gave from the car. The deep bow before entering the show. That one brief moment when he closed his eyes under the Parisian lights, perhaps overwhelmed, perhaps at peace. On TikTok, fans stitched together montages set to soft piano. On Twitter, hashtag V in Paris still trends at night, like a candle that refuses to burn out. And on Instagram, posts captioned, "I still see him here," sit under images of empty streets and soft golden sunsets. His presence became a language. To some it was just fashion. To Army? It was poetry in motion. He didn't speak at press cons. But his gestures became vocabulary. A nod equals gratitude. A hand on his heart equals love. A soft smile equals "I see you. Thank you." And that's why it mattered. Because Taehyung didn't just attend an event. He connected. Paris was just a chapter. But the story? It's far from over. After Paris, the world began to wonder, where will he go next? Will LA be the next stage? Will New York once again witness his footsteps in Central Park? Or will he return home, retreat into silence, and paint in a room filled with golden light and jazz? Army is used to waiting. Not because they enjoy the absence, but because they know when he returns it will be worth everything. A man reborn. This wasn't just a fashion comeback. It was a spiritual reintroduction. Gone was the playful boy who once chased cameras and giggled backstage. In his place stood a man, weathered by time, polished by solitude, still crowned in warmth. His eyes no longer looked for approval. They simply looked back as if to say, "I found myself. And now I walk not for applause but for truth." And yet, the bond remains the same. He may evolve. He may travel. He may go days, weeks, even months in silence. But Army never leaves. Because what binds them isn't just music or visuals or events. It's something gentler, deeper, almost sacred. A shared heartbeat. A connection that thrives even when words fail. Some say he left too soon. But what if he left at the perfect time? Before the world could exhaust him. Before the spotlight could dim him. Before routine could make him forget who he is. He came. He illuminated. He inspired. And he left, leaving everyone wanting not more, but better. And in that he became a legend. So what now? Now the cameras are pointed elsewhere. Now the runway is being rebuilt for the next face. But for those who saw him, for those who felt him, there will always be Paris. And in Paris, there will always be a soft whisper in the wind. He was here. Not every story ends with a goodbye. Some simply fade into memory, glowing forever.
To do, man, they don't know shit.